All righty. And with that said, I just want to welcome everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Sam Hunt, and welcome to the CTA Diversity Programs Construction Talk Series. We're very excited to have you all with us today. We have over 50 people in attendance, which is fantastic. We're very excited to show you all the training center for the LiUNA Chicagoland Laborers District Council Training and Apprentice Fund. Boy, it's a mouthful. That we did a few weeks ago, and some of the interviews with some of the apprentices that we did there, and also Marcus and John, who are also joining us on the call today. Before we get started with the video, we'll just do some introductions, and I'll get started for us. So my name is Sam Hunt. I'm the coordinator for workforce initiatives here at the Chicago Transit Authority in our diversity programs team. The workforce initiatives unit here is tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that the workforce that is employed on the contracting opportunities on CTA property and for CTA's projects reflect the communities with which we serve. So I'll go ahead and pass it now to Brandy Phillips, who is also a member of our team.
Good morning. My name is Brandy Phillips. I am the Senior Project Manager for Workforce Initiatives here at CTA. As Sam indicated, we're tasked with just ensuring that we're monitoring all CTA contracts and making sure that we are applying diversity and equity goals on those contracts to ensure that anyone who is hired on a CTA project does reflect our ridership.
Thank you, Brandy. And with that said, we'll go ahead and also pass it over to some of the members here from the Laborers District Council in attendance. So Marcus and John.
Good morning, John Rotondo, Director of Apprenticeship, Laborers Training Fund. With the Chicago Laborers Training and Apprenticeship Fund, we represent 9 counties in the Chicagoland area, and all workers that are employed or looking to be employed into the Laborers Union. We accept the applications in here and do the training, and we process them through the program to be journey workers. Good morning.
Thank you, John. And Marcus?
I'm Marcus Roberts. I'm the training coordinator for the training fund. I manage the training activities within the training fund.
Awesome. Thank you both for those introductions. And last but certainly not least, we'll introduce our representative here from Cisco, Jamila.
Hi, my name is Jamila Muhammad. I am the Education to Careers Director here at Cisco. Basically, what I do is I work with 26 different union trades over 6 counties. And whenever a trade is getting ready to open up, I post it in one central place, which is cisco.org, and you can look at the basic requirements and what they are looking for.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Jamila. So for all those in attendance, we'll give you a little rundown of what this event will look like. So we have an hour here in this room. It is a webinar, so none of the attendees that aren't panelists are not able to talk. With that said, after we show the video, what we're going to do is have a video show that has interviews and a walkthrough of the training center that we toured a few weeks back. Once that video concludes, we will open up the floor to question and answer period. When the question and answer period begins, we ask that all attendees refer to the chat box or the Q&A box to ask those questions. And once things kind of wind down a little bit more, we'll close the event out. But with that said, I will now pull up the video for everybody to watch. So give me 1 second here. Alrighty. And can you all confirm that you can see this? Yep. Okay.
My name is John Rotondo. I'm the Director of Apprenticeship here at the Chicagoland Laborers Training and Apprenticeship Fund. I've been involved in training for 28 years here at the Training Fund. I was an apprentice coordinator for several years. The apprentice director's role is new for me as of this year, April, actually. After high school, I went to trade school and I went to various different, construction contractors and jobs. And once I got hired on, I got signed up. We didn't have an apprentice program at that time.
My name is Marcus Roberts. I'm the safety manager and an instructor here at the Laborers Training Fund. There I teach a variety of classes. I'm also the safety manager, keeping the facility running in accordance to whatever laws that we have to follow. I've been an instructor here at the Laborers Training Fund since the beginning of 2014. I was also the safety manager here. I was promoted to the safety manager here maybe a year later. Prior to that, I had no official role at the Laborers Training Center. I did begin here as an apprentice back in late 2000. So I came in through the Laborers Apprenticeship from 2000. I believe I completed in 2003. Becoming involved with the laborers was different than when I came in 2000. See, back in 2000, it was open enrollment. So I got information from family that, hey, they're looking for laborers. You go over to the Laborers Training Center, you can apply there. And I went in and I got on in. But it's been different for some years now. When you think of back in 2000, when you have a lot of people coming into the system. I'm applying here, I got in here, and then when you look, hey, where's the work? There's no work. Why would you continue that system? So some years later, we went to a sponsored apprenticeship. That sponsored apprenticeship means that you will have you will be sponsored by a signatory contractor. The signatory contractor contacts us and say, hey, we're gonna hire him, we'll keep him going. He's gonna sign up as a laborer. It hits a little different, and it means a lot. Because as an apprentice, when I was sitting in these chairs right here at the other facility, I thought, wow, it would be great to be an instructor. Wow, I want to come back and do that. And to be able to have all of those years experience in the field and bring that back is priceless. And on construction sites, laborers can pour the concrete. They'll be on the job sites placing the concrete. They're on the roads placing the concrete. When you see us on the street flagging with the stop slow paddles, managing traffic, those are laborers also. So from scaffold building to managing traffic to asbestos and lead remediation and abatement, laborers have a vast amount of different responsibilities and job tasks that we can handle.
Depending on the type of work that they might like, we have several divisions of work: underground work, road work, building work, demolition work. Always an instructor. We train them in the trade, safety, skills. Well, we have our one main track with the Department of Labor, which we have 530 apprentices are part of. We also have a program for the City of Chicago, the Water Department, and we have currently 47 involved in there. So we're running a total of 576 apprentices through the program right now. So there are 2 programs. We don't look to pick an ideal candidate, we look to build an ideal laborer. Okay, and that's one of the things we're proud of here at the Training Fund.
The safety-related classes we teach here are OSHA 30 hour, which we typically don't do too many OSHA 10 hours, but we do the OSHA 30 hours. The majority of our classes, whether it's blueprint reading or demolition with oxy-fuel torches, all have safety within the courses. They all have a variety of different aspects of safety within each course that we teach here. We have 9 classes, 9 solid classes that the apprentices go through throughout their 2 years, beginning with initial training, and they'll move on with our OSHA 30 hour. And depending on when they came into the program and what the weather is at that time, they may move right into an outside class like concrete, or they may move into a class that we can facilitate on the inside, such as blueprint reading or something like that. Because I may have an apprentice that does concrete, but he's going to learn scaffold also, because he may not be with that contractor for the rest of his career. So we want to produce well-rounded apprentices. So throughout the 9 classes, they'll have their burning, they'll have pneumatic tools and some other things.
Individuals into the program who may not have any skills at all, okay? We instill good work ethics. We teach them to be, highly motivated, critical thinkers. What we're producing here is a well-rounded construction craft laborer that's highly trained, well-skilled, and very safety conscious for a great rewarding career, as a laborer. Family supporting wage, great benefits. We have a lot of people applying to become apprentices in our laborers program. And that's one of the things that we all take great pride in here at the Training Fund, being able to provide that quality of life for individuals coming into the program, that quality training, that they are self-sufficient, and that we could provide that for our signatory contractors.
I look at the way that our instructors explain the math, and it's refreshing. And I say the same thing that these apprentices say on their evaluation. Wow, I wish I was taught like that in high school. Wow, I wish I did like this in high school. We deliver a learner-centered methodology of instruction, and it's all about the student and the student's needs, and we create and transform our lesson plan to meet the needs of the individual students within the classroom. We are trained to make sure that we identify the needs of the individual learners and go from there.
Speaking toward apprenticeship, extremely important. Wish we had it back when I entered into the program. You know, a candidate, we'll call him a candidate, with looking to get into construction, looking to get to the laborer's apprenticeship program, would contact one of our signatory contractors. And there's several ways they could go about that, either by name recognition, list of contractors that we have on our website, a contractor association, and they could go to those associations and look up what contractors that they may be interested in applying at those areas. If they're just looking to get in, you know, again, they could hit any one of those contractors, contacting our website, contacting our administrative staff, myself included. We're all able to answer their questions and direct them through the process. The signatory contractor would send in an online application for the candidate, and then that's pretty much where it starts. Our locals are not hiring halls; they're referral halls. So you know, we're always taking apprentices into our program. You know, our program is open on a needed basis of a contractor needing an apprentice.
Our structure is different regarding admissions. We are a sponsored apprenticeship, and that way it guarantees, okay, I got work. I'm not having these extra guys out there looking for work, and everybody's looking for work when there's none out there, so that's a lot better that way.
Well, they would come in for 9 classes. There's 9 classes, and they're pretty much spaced every 3 months apart.
We have this one here in our main campus. This is like our flagship location. This place is gorgeous, but our main campus is technically in Carroll Stream. That was the first one. That's why I did my apprenticeship at. The Chicagoland Laborers District Council Training and Apprentice Fund has the jurisdiction of our 9 counties surrounding Chicagoland.
This training facility was built in 2009.
COVID-19 has had a major impact on us here. We have had to reduce our class sizes drastically, from going to 15 or 16 to 20 in the class. Reducing the class amount to 8 was a challenge, because at that point we have the other 10 or the other 8 that would have normally been in a class. Now they're waiting, and some may be waiting for raises, but some, they need to have that information, they need to have that training, they need to have that knowledge, because what we do out there can be dangerous at times. When everything is over, when it all gets back to normal, we'll have our numbers back up and we get more and more trained.
Our safety manager developed a COVID response plan program that was not only approved by our board of trustees, but praised by our board of trustees. It exceeded the guidelines of CDC, and it allowed us to open up in July. And we had limited class size, but following all the guidelines, the program has been quite a success.
I'm William Poole, an apprentice here at the LiUNA Training Center. I've been an apprentice for a little over a year, since March of 20 last year. My experience as an apprentice, it's been real well. It's been real well. Learned a lot here, a lot of good training. It helped me a lot on the job. Keeps me employed, actually. So when one aspect runs out, I'm able to jump right in with another skill I learned here at the training center.
My name is Regina May. I'm an employee for the City of Chicago Department of Water Management, and I am a part of a labor apprentice program through water management. It's a 2-year apprentice program, and I'm coming up on the end of my 2-year term, the completion, the end of this month, and I'm in my last week of training, which was 9 weeks in total throughout the 2 years. I've had a great experience, learning a lot, doing the best that I can, pushing forward.
My work experience prior to the apprenticeship was I did some time in the Navy. I did 4 years in the Navy, so I work with my hands there. I also did some roofing post-Navy, and when I came home, I heard of the trades, and specifically the LiUNA program through Dawson Technical Institute on the south side of Chicago. I took a pre-apprenticeship program called the Highway Construction Program. The administrators there, they had a job placement program for the individuals that successfully completed, and it worked out real well for me. I was able to stay in touch with those guys, and they got me hooked up with the company that I'm with now.
I was already with the City of Chicago working for streets and sanitation. Department of Water Management had a posting for a labor apprentice. That was the title. So I applied. I actually applied 4 years consistently, and the 4th year I was called. I had been an employee at Chicago Tribune for going into 11 years and was a part of the 3rd biggest layoff. Upon my unemployment running out, it was really past time to start looking for a job. And I heard from a friend that had already been with Streets and Sand for years, and I applied.
I've learned how to use a cutting torch. I've learned how to weld. I've learned how to build scaffolds successfully. I've learned how to, I've learned all about the safety side of the industry. Wow, it's a lot. It's pretty much too much to remember. I have a car full of stuff, you know. During the pandemic, it was a bit of a strain, but the people at LiUNA, the staff here, they made the transition real smooth. They dwindled down the class sizes, and we had less training span throughout the months. However, it's been good. It's been real painless, I should say. The biggest challenge for me since I started the apprenticeship has been not being able to get enough training. Like, I want to learn more in a shorter amount of time. I do.
The skills that I'm learning is my job, what I'm doing in water management, putting in water mains, transferring services, putting in new sewer pipes, repairs for water leaks and PDs, which is personal drains that come from a residential's home or even businesses that connect to the main sewer. Housekeeping, first and foremost. Housekeeping and safety. Also laying water main pipes, transferring water services from the old water mains to the new water mains, repairing water leaks from residential persons' property, sewer mains, putting in new sewer mains, and repairing PDs, connecting them to sewer mains if needed. Being here at the training center, learning the safety part of the job, because as I stated, I am an older female and I had to go back home to my family the same way that I came, because it can be a dangerous job, but I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world. And the classes, the program here has helped me tremendously in doing my job properly, learning safety first and foremost. That's the biggest thing, safety.
The hands-on training. It's been my favorite aspect. Just learning the different things and actually being able to do it and then go apply it to the field. I feel real prepared once I leave here. A normal week out in the field for me is, let's start out with, we work approximately 50 to 58 hours. I do a lot of highway construction, so like currently we're out on I-80 doing that project. Work with a lot of concrete, pouring a lot of roads, do a lot of asphalting, a lot of patchwork, a lot of experience on equipment. In the earlier months, that would be like April and May, 7 o'clock typically, but once the days get longer, we normally jump in about 6 a.m. We have an initiation fee, however, that comes directly out of your check once you start working. So you really don't see it, it's not, just a lump sum of money that you got to come up with. So once you start working and once you get established, they'll just extract that out of your check. So it's real painless. As far as outside of the financial, the insurance that we receive is the best. Like we get dental, medical, vision, pensions, annuities. We have vacation funds. We have credit unions. Even down to roadside assistance. Like it goes from A to Z. We cover a lot. The insurance package covers a lot. We get a stipend for attendant training, so it actually reimburses for gas and meals and things like that.
If anyone is interested in joining the laborers, I would have to ask them to make sure that they look at themselves first and see that it's something that they really want to do. We have a vast area of jurisdictional work. Okay? Now, first you have to be a type of person who can get up for work every day. Because if you don't get up for work every day and make it there on time, there's no reason for you to even try this or get into the trades at all, because you have to be dedicated, and that's something that we have to have. Now, if you're an individual and you know that you're the right person and you really want to do this, you have to look at yourself and sort of pick a contractor that you think would work out for you. Because personally, if you're afraid of heights, you don't want to go to a contractor who has a lot of work at heights. Okay? If you lean towards something else, if you've been to a pre-apprenticeship or something and you're leaning toward doing certain thing like demolition, you may look for a contractor who specializes in demolition. You may look for a contractor who specializes in just being a general contractor, so you have a wide variety of things that you can do and learn while you're working for the contractor.
Don't never think that you can't do it. Whatever's put before me, I might not have the man's strength, but I can do the best that I can, and I don't give up.
I would tell those individuals to stick with it. Any obstacles, inhibitions you may run into, just stick with it. Because those who do, yeah, you're gonna experience a financial tempo that a lot of us don't. So I would just say stick with it. Stick with it. That's it. Persevere.
It can seem discouraging to someone when they hear that it's a sponsored apprenticeship. Oh, so I got to go find someone to hire me? But you can't be discouraged. You can't be discouraged because we're bringing apprentices in every week. Every week we're bringing apprentices in. So, and we're growing. There's a need for it here, and you can't be discouraged. You have to go for it.
Oh, the most pride I've taken is, like a lot of us, I got people that depend on me, so just being able to provide for them, just security, the overall security is my biggest, is what I'm most proud of. Yeah, I want to be a foreman one day. I actually want to run a job. I'm really interested in, for some odd reason, I want to see what the pressure feels like.
What I take most pride in is the laborers that we produce out of the training fund here. They're highly skilled, highly trained, safety conscious, construction craft laborers.
The most pride I take in my position is going home the way that I came, safe.
I think I take the most pride in the education that we give our students. So if there's anything to be proud of, I think it would be our delivery of instruction, which is totally different from anything that I knew that was customary, growing up.
Looking at my age, me being an older female, she needs this help, she can't do it, she can't. But I'm not that story. That's not my story. I push forward and I do the best that I can, and I don't give up. I'm quite sure some are surprised of the things that I get out there and do, or even be willing to try. It's just a matter of being willing to try and do the best that you can do. I would say go for it. Financially, whether you single, whether you have a family, you be able to financially be able to do more things than average, and you can do it. Don't give up. I didn't.
If anyone's thinking about joining the laborers union, you have to do it. Be sure that it's what you want to do and go for it. Don't let anything discourage you. We chose this career for several reasons. We chose this career because we wanted something better for ourselves and better for our families. We want to look 10 or 15 years from now and have that pension built up. We want to look when it's a time to retire and know we have done what we needed to do throughout all those years to make sure that we have a solid foundation for our families. That's what it's about. That's what joining the trades and becoming a laborer is about, because you can do anything from concrete to scaffolding to building barriers in the hospital, but it's about making sure that you can provide for your family.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you all for tuning in for that. We greatly appreciate it. So in summary, that was just a tour of the training center, the LiUNA Chicagoland Laborers District Council Training and Apprentice Fund Training Center. Got to hear from a couple of the apprentices about their experience as apprentices with the training fund, and then also wonderful interviews with John and Marcus outlining how to get involved in the laborer trade and also their experiences professionally within the space. So now we'll open up the floor to our question and answer period. Looks like we already have a couple of comments and questions in the chat box. The first Q&A question we have, though, is who can I email later to get more information and see the video? Well, for all those that are in attendance today, just so you are aware, once this event concludes, we will be uploading this video to our YouTube channel. We'll be uploading this video to our YouTube channel for anyone to review at their convenience. So all the answers that are being given in this question and answer period will also be recorded and uploaded there. So thank you for that question. We had a question from Johnny Wallace specifically about how do you apply. John and Marcus, for some of the people that are in attendance, we've had in the past various union halls that are direct union halls taking the applications themselves for candidates to become apprentices, but the training center operates a little bit differently. Would you mind elaborating on that further?
Sure. Our system here at the Laborers Training Fund is designed as an online system where the contractor would be submitting the application online on behalf of the applicant. So, basically, again, the applicant or whoever is seeking employment would contact a contractor, and basically, it's like getting hired on by the contractor. We used to call it receiving a letter of intent to hire. Well, it's a sponsorship. The contractor is actually stating that I am employing this individual, I am sponsoring him into the laborers program, and he fills that form out accordingly.
Great, thank you for that. So a lot of folks may get confused about if they should go straight to the contractor first, if they go straight to the apprenticeship fund, but in this instance, it would be go to the contractor first about opportunities, getting a sponsorship, and then they would help assist with the processing for the candidate. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that, John. So another question we got from Giuliano was, what is the next step? So somebody's seen this video and somebody's sitting in their seat and is convinced, you know what, this is the trade for me. I want to become a laborer. who should I contact, or where can I go to find resources to connect me, an individual, with a contractor?
Okay, our website, www.chicagolandlaborerstrainingandapprenticeshipfund.org, has the information, requirements for the apprentice program. There's links on there to contractor associations. All of our staff's information is on there, contact information that we would, take their phone call or their email, their inquiry. Again, any of our administrative staff, any of our instructors, anyone in the facility could talk on apprenticeship and guide someone through the process of securing a contractor to sponsor them. And we'd also be able to explain the process as it proceeds through to indenturing and obviously through completion of the apprenticeship program as well. So yeah, they could contact us for information, most definitely. But in order to get started in the process, they have to contact that sponsor, the contractor to sponsor them, and put them into the application process.
And kind of piggybacking on what Johnny was saying, I listened to Johnny explain this one day, and as he was explaining it, I jumped on my phone and I started to Google contractor associations. And as sure as the way he's explaining it, it was as simple as that. I don't remember what I Googled, if it was contractor association or Illinois contractor or Chicagoland contractor associations or whatever, but one of the first things that popped up were underground contractor associations. So as he's explaining it still, I'm going through my phone and I clicked it open. Whoa, lo and behold, there were so many contractors, and that was just the underground contractor association, not to mention the other contractor associations that Johnny is speaking about on our website.
And Juan Pablo has put the website information in the chat for those that want to go to the website.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that, Marcus, and thank you for adding that, Brandy. So I actually had a question that came up during the video that I wanted to hear a little bit more from John and Marcus about. So for folks that have never gotten involved in the trades before, that maybe want to become a laborer, what skills or job experience or background would benefit individuals to have when looking to become a laborer? What kind of work experiences would you say are beneficial to have prior to applying?
Work experience, honestly, I mean, strong math skills are a plus, but if you want to get away from other education, just the work skills, anything that's hands-on. If you went to a school or a high school that had those kind of programs, that would just be better. So when you come in, you have somewhat of a foot forward when it comes to a lot of the hands-on tasks. Other than that, something that would benefit, because I understand where we're getting at with that question, but it's just that I've seen so many apprentices come in that don't have that background. So many of us did not have that background. So many more of us don't have that background than do. And then that's what we're here. We're here day one, and we're exposing you to what you need to learn, and we're taking you from there.
Like Marcus has stated, the background is great, and they will excel and, be proficient, but don't let that discourage anyone who doesn't have the background, because as Marcus explained, the way we train here at the Training Fund, we will build all of that training into them. We build them into the construction laborers and the skills that they need to possess in order to succeed as a construction laborer. I mean, and desire is everything, though. So it starts with their desire and willingness to proceed through that, push forward.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that's very encouraging for a lot of folks to hear too, because some people are just either getting out of high school or just getting out of circumstances where they're not entirely sure what they should have done prior to getting involved in the trades. Some folks are telling maybe you should take some wood chopping or woodworking class, various pieces of advice depending on the trade you're trying to get into. So to hear that there's an opportunity for individuals that are starting from blank slates, that may not have the experience, may not have much of a background in it, but can still become, based on the training and the guidance that is offered by the Training Fund, able to grow into those ideal laborers and grow into that role through their work experiences. So that's fantastic to hear. So thank you for sharing that, Marcus and John. So there was a follow-up question related to that in the chat where Kayira asked if you can get an apprentice sponsor without having labor-specific experience. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, that is the case depending on the contractor. And the contractor is, right, the contractors, when they're hiring apprentices, they're going to look to see what skills they have. As you know, an apprentice may, or an applicant may fill out an application, but you know, it's up to the contractor to say, well, this is a person I want to build, you know, and we're going to employ them. We're going to employ this individual, and we're going to instill our work ethic, our methodology, our training into them. So yeah, the contractors are well aware that, you know, somebody coming right out of high school is probably going to have limited, you know, experience. So yes, that's been the case, as well as the case of applicants who've been through feeder programs and, you know, in high school trade programs and have experience outside in the field as well. Yeah, there's many variables.
Thank you for that, John. And yeah, as we heard from the apprentice, William Poole, during the interview, he actually came through a program with Dawson Institute. And that's how he got involved in the trade specifically as well. So there's a variety of outlets to kind of indirectly get involved with this specific trade. But the one obviously we want to encourage folks to pursue here is the sponsorship opportunity, because that also does ensure that you have a level of employment throughout the duration of your apprenticeship. So that's a very encouraging thing to hear. I wanted to give Brandy an opportunity to ask a question. I believe she did. Brandy, did you have something you'd like to ask?
Well, I think my question was actually answered. I just wanted to make sure that we were clear with everyone that in order to get into the laborer's apprenticeship program here, you definitely have to go through a contractor. So you can't, you know, sign up online. The online information is specifically just to inform you about going through the process, right? But you absolutely have to get with a contractor. And if you're wanting to know whether or not a contractor is willing to hire you without any experience and work with you to get you into a sponsorship to get into LiUNA's program, that is completely dependent upon the contractor. And so that's how that will work. Just wanted to make sure that we were clear with that.
Yes, you're 100% correct, Brandy. 100% correct. Yes, thank you.
All right, great. Thank you both for that, Brandy and John. And just again, we have gotten a few comments and questions specifically about labor work with the Chicago Transit Authority, and this is separate from that. Any opportunities that are related specifically to being employed by the CTA, whether as a flagger, labor, et cetera, is through a separate entity and through a separate route. And we encourage anybody that is interested in looking at those opportunities to go to transitchicago.com/careers, because as those are, or that is the location for those specific postings. Now, with that said, we're going to allow some more time for some questions from the group, and we just got a question from Mary. She asked, is there an age limit for this program? Are there any age requirements or restrictions for individuals that are looking to be trained within the program, John?
One of the requirements for age, the only requirement for age is that they're 18 years old, legal to be active construction site workers.
Okay, so yeah, 18 years old. That's usually the threshold for most of the trades. Sometimes it varies depending on the individual, but that's great to hear. So thank you for that. Let's see, there was a question specifically about flagger's position. We'll repost that link here in a moment. So give me one sec. Before we do that though, I did want to ask Marcus, since as an individual who is training these apprentices day to day at the center, so we heard a little bit about, since the pandemic hit, the sort of response that the training center has had and how great it's been to be able to actually reopen and have been reopened for so long, almost a year now since the pandemic hit, but being reopened since July. How has your experience been as the instructor for these students? What are some of the things that you're seeing now that we're at kind of getting back to normal, if you will, as an instructor within the apprentices?
We really had to adjust our style of teaching. It's been a challenge with identifying the needs of the individual learners and making sure it comes to life while social distancing and not being able to perform a lot of the activities, the group activities in the way you would have. But there are so many different ways to achieve the objectives. It just had to be creative. A lot of the instructors had to be really creative with making sure that everyone got that personal attention that they needed without having, other students to get close to enough to go ahead and bounce ideas off and things like that. Getting better outside, getting better, a lot better right now. As the months go by with a lot of restrictions loosening up, we're just really looking forward to being fully open again where we can really, really get back to normal.
Thank you for sharing that, Marcus. We appreciate it. We had a question come up specifically about somebody at the training center that they could contact for support with potentially either finding various contractors to connect with for potential sponsorship opportunities. Is there an email or a number that we could post in the chat for individuals, John?
Other than the tab page on our website that gives the contractor associations, we have not done anything more than, and to go ahead and, put it out there. We're not actively engaging or handing off applicants to contractors or vice.
Right.
We're not facilitating in that department at all. That's not our world right now, or I'm not sure what the future holds, but at the time, no.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. So we encourage everybody then to visit the website again, to look at the contractor associations, review the list. There is a list of contractors that work with the center. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Then we encourage folks to use that specifically as a resource to connect with those contractors. And in the event that any questions do come up with issues of that, we'll put the Workforce Initiatives email in the group for individuals to send questions to if anything comes up where they're not able to find anything, or if there's any issues with the website at the time. So that we'll handle that. That's no problem. John also asked if there is an aptitude test to get into the program. John and Marcus, can you speak a little bit more about that?
There is no aptitude test. At one time there was, before mandatory, but we've gone through the requirements, and that's not one of the requirements anymore.
Thank you for that. So that, again, is something that's a little different. Some of the union halls that are hiring directly, or not hiring, but are accepting applications directly, function a little differently with their aptitude tests or their requirements. This functions differently from those who have been in attendance from some of our past construction talks. There was a question specifically about transferring from one union hall to another. John, correct me if I'm wrong, but the transferring of specific union affiliates for individuals that are in the trade, that is not handled by the training center, correct?
We talking from one trade to the other or within LiUNA?
Gotcha. So it's within the LiUNA community specifically, right?
He was just asking if it was from trade to trade or if it was from one union hall within LiUNA to another, if they were asking. But either way, it would be a function of the training fund. That would be something separate that is handled by those particular union halls.
Correct.
Like if someone wanted to transfer from local 1 to local 4, they would have to talk to those guys.
Understood. Okay, great. Thank you. There was a question that came up about what if a program doesn't accept them because they don't have any experience? I think I'd reference to the earlier answer that we heard kind of from John and Marcus that, there are some opportunities for getting some experience that is beneficial, but again, it's just not a requirement. There could be other factors contributing at the time for maybe why the contractor didn't hire a candidate at that time, whether it's it might be the off season where not much work is being engaged in. It could be, just an influx of applicants that were considered ahead of that individual. So there are a variety of factors that can contribute to that specifically. But back to what Marcus mentioned earlier about, if you have any technical program that you've been familiarize yourself with or have been engaged in, that's helpful. But again, by not any imagination is it a requirement in order to get involved in this trade. Awesome.
And just to add to what Sam just indicated, if a contractor does not want to hire you due to not having experience, then that's solely on the basis of a contractor, because the contractor would have to deem you as qualified by whatever means in order to sponsor you into a program such as the LiUNA Laborers, if that makes sense. So just speaking on the side of lack of experience to get into get on a project and then be sponsored into an apprenticeship program, that would be solely on the basis of that particular contractor. And it wouldn't have anything to do with LiUNA. So they're just informing you of what their process is.
Awesome. Thank you for adding that, Brandy. That's very, very helpful for everybody. We'll give a little bit more time if anyone has any other additional questions they'd like to ask with Marcus and John and CTA here. Just as a reminder for some of the individuals that may not have heard earlier, for those individuals that are interested in specific CTA opportunities, that is handled separately, that is independent of LiUNA. And we encourage those folks who are interested in those specific opportunities to visit transitchicago.com/careers, where the link has been dropped in the chat for reference. So please stay tuned to that if that is your interest.
And I also just wanted to add, I thought I saw a question about working on CTA projects. So completely separate from working for CTA and then working on CTA construction projects. So those are two different things, right? So if you're interested in working on CTA specific projects, we can drop our workforce partners information in there and you can contact them in order to get information about how you can enter into some of entering on some of those projects. If you have experience or don't have experience, they can inform you about what that process is like, and we'll provide that information in our chat.
In addition to that as well, for individuals that are in attendance today, when this video does get uploaded to our CTA Doors opening page, there will be the actual reference links for both of those workforce partners, who are Hire 360 and the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. So that way you can engage with their services. They provide wraparound services and support to individuals that are interested in getting in the trades. So stay tuned to that. We will also drop that here in the chat here shortly. So we did get a couple last minute questions. So how would people who have completed pre-apprenticeship programs like ASEA go about obtaining an apprenticeship specifically with the laborers? So as we've indicated, the best means of doing that would be to, well, John and Marcus, I believe you've all mentioned visiting the website and reviewing the list of contractors that are in partnership with the training center, and contacting those contractors to begin a sponsorship. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you for that. And there was a separate question about bidding opportunities that is unrelated to this opportunity. I'm not entirely sure, Johnny, what the question is there, so I apologize, but this is independent of any bidding opportunities. So bidding is very different than what we're talking about here with workforce. Those two separate opportunities. So we defer you actually to our small business team if that is something you're interested in learning more about.
Sam, Johnny may be talking about, he mentioned that he works for the city of Chicago right now, and he mentioned a bid because Regina did mention that she worked for another department before and she saw this opportunity up for bid, so she applied for it. And so that's what he's referencing. But Johnny, I'm not really sure. I think that was his name. It's gone right now. I think his name was Johnny Wallace. I'm not sure if it's up for bid right now for any of the, like the labor apprenticeship with the water department or anything like that. But if you happen to see it up for bid, that's exactly what Regina was talking about and how she got in. So I did understand this question a little bit, Sam.
That's a great catch, Marcus. Yeah, the city of Chicago has their own website for the internal bids and stuff that they would go to. John, if you're listening.
Well, thank you both for catching that. I appreciate being kept honest there. So that was great. one of the last questions we'll answer here before we start wrapping things up. Do individuals get paid while attending the apprenticeship program and receiving training? John, would you care to answer that?
Yes. Well, what the student would get a training stipend from the training fund, directly from the training fund, which is pretty much what we call a like traveling expense to cover. It's a training stipend that they'd receive. It starts out at $30 a day, and then you know, through I think we changed some of the prices accordingly, but yeah, they will receive a training stipend.
Awesome.
Now,
Yeah, I think
the contractor may choose to pay them while they're still being trained. Some contractors have in the past. That's usually not the case though, but that could be possible as well.
Thank you for that, John. Greatly appreciate that. So with that said, we'll actually now begin to close out the program for the day. So I have added the Workforce Initiatives email for the CTA team here. If any of your questions weren't answered, or if you had any follow-up clarifications that you were in need of regarding this event or any of the information, we encourage you all to reach out to us directly through there. Before we wrap up, I want to give a special thank you to Mark Berman from the communications team here at CTA for producing the video and putting this together. The video you saw was a labor of love from him, so a special shout out to him. Before we wrap up, John, Marcus, Jamila, Brandy, do you have any closing comments that you'd like to share with the group?
I don't have anything, but I did want to know if maybe Jamila wanted to say anything with regards to Cisco or any information that she thinks will be helpful for the group.
As I said before, I work with 26, thank you, Brandy. As I said before, I work with 26 different trades and over 6 counties. So when the laborers or any other trade is doing anything, if you just go to cisco.org, that's CISCO.org. We also have an apprenticeship guide on there where it will give you a brief synopsis of what the trades do, including the laborers, also contact information, numbers, websites, things like that. Thank you, Brandy, and everyone else.
Thank you, Jamil. I added the link to anybody who's interested into the chat box now for folks. Marcus, John, do you have any closing comments or notes that you wanted to make prior to wrapping this up?
No, I'd like to thank everyone here for the opportunity to present the laborers trade to the panel.
Yes, me also. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be a part of it, and looking for more apprentices to come on in.
Beautiful.
I wanted to.
Go on, Brandy. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Sam. I just want to thank everyone for participating as a panelist and providing such great information. I also want to thank our participants for joining us and learning more about the construction field as it relates to the laborers union.
Beautiful. Well, thank you everybody for your attendance today. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to our panelists. Again, this video has been recorded and will be uploaded to our CTA Doors Opening YouTube page within the next day or so. So if there's anything that you didn't write down that you want to rewatch or catch again, you can review it there. And with that said, we'll close out the event. So thank you all again, and we look forward to seeing you at our next construction talks here later this summer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.